Okay, hey, welcome back.
Sort of.
Well, I want to apologize to all the female viewers of our show. I'm not wearing a tank top today, and for that I apologize, ladies. I know that this is your time to enjoy, but it's a little cold. It's a cold front came through. I don't even know where to begin. First of all, it has been crazy.
I was going to say, can the camera see our house? Like, it is so messy now that there's a newborn in the house.
There's a million things to talk about. A million, because we took 2 weeks off. And then also, I used to say all the time, like, you cannot argue with a pregnant woman. Uh-huh. She always has the upper hand.
Okay.
Well, what I'm learning is you also can't argue with a new mom. So it's not just 9 months of I'm pregnant, give me what I want.
You thought it was coming to an end, and it hasn't.
I thought it was finally coming to an end, and Renee's like, I'm breastfeeding, and so we got to talk about that.
Oh, as I'm like sitting here shaking.
And a lot of you are like, oh my God, Renee looks extra beautiful today, and you do.
I got my makeup did.
Well, we also did family pictures today, and Renee, I wake up in the morning and Renee's got what do you call it? A makeup artist.
Marisol's in the house with her lights and her kit.
I'm like, oh my God, must be nice.
Yesterday you were like, if you want, you can go get a manicure, pedicure. And I was like, no, I can't go leave and get a manicure, pedicure. Like, you don't know how to make bottles. You don't know how to mix the formula. You don't know how to change. You don't change the diapers. Like, I can't leave. Someone has to come to the house.
Again.
What?
I have to clear the air again on this podcast. You don't know how to change I don't feed the baby. I don't know how to do bottles.
I had to explain to you how to boil the water, how many ounces she's supposed to have.
You chose to explain that to me because you think I'm dumb. Guess what's on the formula? Directions. And I happen to be able to read. So again, you get on this podcast and you start going, my man-child, and he doesn't do shit. And I had it. No.
You have not changed a diaper yet.
I do not. I'm not going to.
We're 2 weeks in, y'all.
I'm not going to.
You're not going to change a diaper?
No. I am
never going to change a diaper?
If I have to, I will.
So then how am I supposed to go any place?
But it makes me extremely uncomfortable because she's a little girl.
I was going to say, you change diapers with Garrett all the time.
Yeah, but I have what he has. And I don't think men... Uh-huh. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a different...
You're telling me that you don't think dads should change their daughter's diapers.
I'm not saying that.
Are you saying that?
I'm not saying...
On this podcast, did he just say that?
No, I said me. I would like you to do it.
That's a bold statement, Steve Trevino.
Because, talking to Pat, talking to Kyle...
Oh, now you're throwing your friends under the bus?
All the girl dads, they're like, dude, it is super uncomfortable.
Yeah?
It's super uncomfortable.
It wasn't weird for me to do that to Garrett, and I don't have his parts.
It's different.
How is it different?
You're a mommy. It's different.
You're a daddy.
I know, and I will change her if I have to. But when Kyle's like, dude, you got to get poop out of her... You know what I'm saying? Like, that's uncomfortable. I know it's my child, but that is uncomfortable. So I just, for now, if you're around, I'll do everything else. Have I not been doing everything else?
You've been helping quite a lot. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I can't leave if I know I'm going to come home and the poor thing's going to be sitting in a soiled diaper.
Plan for this podcast, and now
okay,
everything.
I'll follow your lead.
Well, no, because I kind of want to start from where we left off.
Last episode we talked about going to the hospital to have the baby.
We left off with we played a game with your parents, and we were talking about the baby's coming, and we're gonna go in and be induced. So that's where we left off our friends here on the podcast. So I would like to kind of talk about our experience this time having a baby versus Garrett.
Yeah.
I definitely was not as I don't know, because it was planned. It wasn't like, with Garrett, it's happening, like, leave Vegas, come home. It's like, and you're in the house, like you were having contractions, and it was like,
my water
crap,
already
like,
broken.
We were moving, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I don't want to go to the hospital yet. Get me some Fiji water. Dude, I stop at a convenience store.
Coconut water.
I stop at a convenience store while she's in the car, like, and I'm like, what are we doing right now? Right? So it definitely felt panicky.
Yes.
Right? And then it was the middle of the night. It was 3 a.m. Or, about
2 in the morning.
3 in the morning. And it was like go time, and they're strapping things to you. And it was like, it was crazy. And then I was exhausted. It was.
This time I'm in a hospital robe and you're sleeping on the couch. He's like totally passed out. I have a picture of you passed out on the couch in the delivery room.
Yes, I did pass out on the couch. Well, because they go, okay, be here at 5 a.m.
Yeah, they had us get there early and we didn't start till
we got there early.
7?
And because of COVID, they did the,
up the nose test.
Yes, they did the test and got us all situated. And our nurse, have you sent her gift yet?
No, not yet. She's got some coming.
Oh, you already ordered it, though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. So we had a wonderful, wonderful nurse.
Yeah, she was great.
And I don't know.
Miss Kimber.
Yeah. Kimber was fantastic. And I went out and I bought pizzas for everybody, and we brought gifts and treats for the whole floor, but it was so quiet.
It was very quiet in the hospital.
And I think because it's Texas, and our last baby we had in Burbank, California.
Oh, every room is full and packed.
Here we are in this brand new hospital in New Braunfels, Texas, which, by the way, everybody was fantastic except the people that have to bill you. It's unbelievable, bro. It's unreal how they're like, hey, are we going to settle this? And we just had a baby, and they're like, hey, can we get this settled up here? So we went in, and then you progressed really fast.
I did this time, yeah, which is weird because with Garrett, I stalled out.
Yeah, Kimber came out and was like,
okay.
And then she was like, oh my gosh, you're like whatever. And then I will say that hour where the baby was coming, I probably have never had anxiety like that. I was like freaking out.
You mean after the epidural or before the epidural?
After.
After the epidural.
Oh, by the way, it's only one of your legs?
Oh, the epidural only took on half of my body. And I jumped from 6 centimeters to 9 centimeters. And they're like, you don't feel it on the other side? I'm like,
she's like, I don't feel it on this side, but this side. And I'm like, what's happening, dude? And she was like, I don't know. And then the doctor came in and she's like...
then he's like, we can pull out the needle out of your back, but then there's a chance that none of it will work at all. And I'm like, well, I don't think I want that.
Yeah, let's stay with half. We're halfway there. I just, sometimes I feel like maybe we're beating a dead horse here, but this pregnancy was so stressful. And I just wanted my baby out and safe.
It was.
And I was having this get her out, give me my baby, and I want to hear her cry, and I want to hear her healthy, and you know what I mean. And there was just kind of that. And at one point, the doctor's like, Mr. Trevino, if you need to sit down, you can sit down, because I was so stressed about it. And you weren't. You were.
No, I trusted my doctor. I felt like Kimber was a great nurse the whole time. I felt very comfortable, and I trusted them, and I didn't feel like we were being. I think with Garrett's birth, I felt like we were being pushed into things that I didn't necessarily want, or a timeline that I didn't want, and I felt like everyone was on the same page.
Yeah, but I was just like, let's get her out.
Yeah.
Let's just get her out. I don't want anything to happen, But I was so happy and relieved once she came out, and they were like, "Are you going to be okay to cut the umbilical cord?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So we cut the umbilical cord, and
well, because she could tell you were staying up here. You were not moving from this spot. She was kind of like, "Do you want to touch the head?" You're like, "Nope, nope, I don't."
Nope. My favorite part of you is being ruined. My favorite part of you. So we finally had the baby, which was freaking it really felt this time like such a miracle.
Yes.
And such a blessing. And it felt like, oh.
You know what was cool this time is, I don't know if this is just this hospital because it's a newer hospital, but they had the monitors on me, and instead of just hearing the heartbeat through the little machine, it's playing through speakers in the room. You're hearing her heartbeat. So the whole time you hear this baby's heartbeat in the room, and as the baby is coming down the birth canal, like you feel the baby coming down, and you are still hearing this heartbeat.
The heartbeat, and the doctor was freaking out because they're like, "Oh, this girl, like she wants out." Like your baby wants out of here. And I'm like, yeah, she's been with her for 9 months, dude. She's like, hey, guy.
But I didn't realize how awful and lethargic I had felt and had gotten until I had her. And then all of a sudden, and I'm sure part of that is like the high of the pregnancy hormones. But once she came out, I was just like, oh my God, I feel so much better.
Well, and there was a moment for you and I where I was like, see? I told you weren't yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, because you've been saying it had been so hard, and I was like, I'm just a pregnant woman. Like, I'm just tired and pregnant.
No, you were a miserable, see you next Tuesday. Like, dude, I mean, and it was weird for me because I know my wife, and I know my partner, and I know my teammate, and you were not 100% you.
Yeah.
And it was hard on me. You know, and the only time that you would turn it on was for the podcast. So I would look forward. I'd be like, oh man, I get an hour of Renae. But it was really trippy because as soon as she came out, you were like, I got things to do. Give me my tablet. Let's go. What are we gonna do? And I'm like, hey, I know you. Welcome back. But we'll continue to have that conversation. But I really want to talk about this and. I was so annoyed with the freaking policy to get us out.
Oh, gosh. You were so antsy, and I was like, why bother? Like,
because it's all bullshit. All of it is to protect the hospital because there's a bunch of idiots in this world.
And that's why it has to be done.
And they're dummies.
But you being a grump about it doesn't solve anything.
I literally went to the nurse and I go, what is stopping us from walking out of here? And she was like, well, nothing. Technically, you can leave whenever you want.
We were waiting to be discharged, and you were ready to get home. It is hard now with COVID that the sibling can't come to the hospital.
No. So then Renae's doctor came in and said, I have discharged you.
In the morning.
In the morning. You're good to go, right?
But you have to see the baby has to be seen by a pediatrician.
Well, yes. And then the pediatrician comes in there, and she's like, oh, it's a girl. All right, great. Like, later, right? So then she checks off on the baby being discharged. Now, don't get me wrong. They do a blood test. It's a 24-hour blood test, right?
After the baby's been alive for 24 hours, they test.
Now, I was all about waiting for those results, right? I'm okay with that because I want to be in the hospital if there's an issue. But if the blood results come back great, hey, let's go. So the blood results come back great, thank God. And they go, okay, well, we're going to start the discharge process.
And that's when Steve lost his mind.
I don't know how to help with that. There are other things you can try.
Apparently no one can help you with that problem.
So, dude, she walks in and she has a stack of paperwork like this. And she is literally going through.
She's going through it with me, and I have to initial and sign.
Bullshit. And I'm waiting for Renae to go, look, I've had a child. I don't need this. Tell me where to sign so that
They've all been so sweet to me, those nurses. I don't want to be rude and snap at them. They're already getting looks and huffs and puffs from you over on the couch.
I'm losing it, bro. Because they're literally like, these are the signs of depression. And if you feel depressed, here are the signs. You might experience blah, 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 blah. Now, if you start to feel these things, we have brought you a pamphlet that is going to help. Now, in this pamphlet, you're going to find, and I'm like, oh, sign it! Just sign it.
You were losing
And then
your
she
mind.
was like, okay, so we've gone through that. Now, let's talk about breastfeeding. Did the lactation specialist come in? And I'm just like, oh my God, dude, let's go. And then all of a sudden, it made me really sad because they go, and we know that babies cry. So we're not going to shake our baby. Shaking our baby is not, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, and I mean this very sincerely on this podcast. If there's a situation where some 18-year-old girl is in there having a child, and maybe her mom's not there, right? Or whoever knocked her up isn't there, or whatever the situation may be. Maybe that little girl needs all this information, right? Maybe that little girl needs for the hospital to go, hey, here's where you can get help. But us, I'm like, let's go. Dude, an hour of bullshit paperwork, an hour. And I'm like, and then Renae, this one, and then Renae asked a question. And let me ask that question. I go, oh my, don't ask questions.
I didn't raise my hand. You act like I had a legit question, which is why probably they go through this stuff with you.
Oh my God, dude. She goes, I have a question. I go, oh my, wait. She might answer it. She's going through, she has to go through this script. And it's all bullshit. It's all to make sure that the hospital goes, hey, we're not responsible for her shaking her baby. We told her. So it was a nightmare.
You huffing and puffing in the corner did not help anything,
So we finally get the baby home.
Yes.
And your big concern with Garrett and our experience with the breastfeeding was
that I wouldn't produce milk again.
Milk,
yeah. And it was everyone's concern. It was your concern that this baby's not getting fed. It was my folks' concern because they were here with Garrett.
Well, and Garrett is our first baby. Garrett's like, we're going to the lactation specialist. We're trying to figure out what's going on. And Renae was just not able to produce milk, so we moved on.
Yeah.
And we ended up doing formula. So this one, our big concern was
the same thing happening.
Are you going to produce?
Yeah.
Right. And as some of you can see from that camera angle, we're doing pretty good on the production, but...
Well, I don't know. It's a mess now.
Tell everybody what's going on.
I got so engorged when my milk came in, and then I had to go to the lactation consultant, and even she was like, oh my God. That's intense. And so we worked through it a little bit there, and then I was good for a few days, and she was eating, and she was getting the milk she needed, and I was making it, and it was good. And then I got mastitis. So I was like, if you're having to constantly refocus the camera, it's because I have the shakes.
No, you can't say, explain what is it called?
Mastitis?
Explain what that is. You got a bunch of people here who either have never had it, never had a baby, they're not medical people.
It's when you have a clogged duct. So essentially you're producing quite a bit of milk and it gets clogged and it doesn't make it out. And then it causes an infection. So that happened to be this weekend, and I'm on antibiotics for it.
So then what was it, 2 days ago? Was it 2 days ago? Oh no, yesterday.
Was the hard day.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm still a little frustrated with your doctor for not saying, hey, I'm gonna put you on an antibiotic, and because you're on an antibiotic, that's gonna get into your breast milk, and that might affect the baby. No, they didn't tell us that. Right?
They were prescribing me something.
And by the way, how come they didn't cover this in the hour and a half that we spent?
They might have, but she was rushing through it because she was getting nervous.
Spent an hour and a half.
Huffing and puffing in the corner.
But you don't think the doctor would go, hey, if you're going to breastfeed, you're going to be on antibiotics, that might affect the baby?
No, I know that. Most women, that's like a given that antibiotics would affect the baby, but these particular antibiotics are supposed to be fine to continue to breastfeed.
But they weren't.
With this issue with mastitis, you have to get the milk out. So it's like you need to constantly feed the baby or pump it. But Delilah had a reaction to the antibiotic.
Yeah. So
yesterday was rough.
Poor girl yesterday. And I was like, hey, I go, because my mixed martial arts class is from noon to 1 every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, do you care if I go? And you were like, yeah, no problem, go. Then I come back and you're in the bed like...
on the verge of a meltdown.
Help me. And I'm like dressed in sweat. I'm like, I gotta take a shower. She's like, help me.
You just wanted to talk to me about your class and how you got beat and you were so bummed about it. And I'm like, I don't care about your damn class.
I don't like losing. And the guy that beat me is 120 pounds and I couldn't freaking beat him. But thank God my stepmom, Sarah and Dad showed up because your parents were here and then your mom and
They
dad
left yesterday morning when we really needed help.
But by the way, did I call it?
Huh?
Dude, your dad, I said it.
Oh, my dad is so attached.
Every day he'd be like, oh, well, I could probably leave tomorrow. I mean, I could, we'll see what's going on tomorrow.
We don't have to leave tonight. We'll wait till the morning.
Tomorrow, okay. And then, no, I don't. So then, okay, I'm gonna go, and I got some things to do. I'll be back, dude. Rick, all the crap. I don't need her. I'll be at the bar drinking, bro. I'll be at the bar. I don't need her, dude. This guy has literally been without her 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days.
He forgot his tracksuit. He had to borrow your sweatpants because his tracksuit wasn't washed.
Oh God, I love that guy. But I will say that we're very excited because your sister is going to be here on Sunday. Rebecca from Hawaii. Poor girl's been out there.
We haven't seen her in over a year since she got married.
Well, and her husband is just got a promotion. He's an officer in the Navy. So, and that's what a lot of people don't understand, man. And it's another reason that I love these veterans so very much, is because people don't realize that Sean sacrifices as an officer in the Navy, but so does his wife.
Yeah.
His wife, because she's married to him, has to sacrifice too. So Rebecca's had to sacrifice tons, and even now she's going to come home without her husband.
Because they're not allowed to leave because of Hawaii's quarantine rules are super strict.
Right, and Sean, he's
in the military.
He volunteered to serve our country, and that's part of the thing that he has to do. But right away, your dad was like, "I'll be back Friday morning."
When they left on Monday morning, he sat next to me because I was feeding Delilah, and he said, "You know what? I think we're going to come back Friday morning. As long as your mom's done with her work,
and then
we'll
he's
be
like,
here early on Friday."
And then he goes, "Oh, she's crying because she misses my cologne." Hey, no, she misses my cologne. Dude, he wears that patchouli. It's the worst. Dude. And then we clean out the room so that my dad and Sarah can stay in that room. And my dad ended up, he comes downstairs and Renee's like, "Why should Dad sleep on the couch?" And I'm like, "Dad, why are you sleeping on the couch?" "I ain't sleeping up there. It smells like damn Raymond." No, this is Dad. I did a Raymond impression for Dad. Here's Dad. "Hell no, I'm not sleeping up there.
Yeah,
that's not Raymond. That smells like damn Raymond up there." Right? So your dad has basically stunk everybody out of that room.
Of the guest room.
Like even my mom, everybody's just like, we can't. Like
we keep a bottle of Febreze in that room,
and even the Febreze
it's still not cutting it.
Doesn't take away the Daddy Raymond stink.
I think I'm gonna have to buy one of those, like when you bomb your car, when a car gets detailed and they bomb the car because it smells
we're gonna have to bomb the damn room. Because your dad, and then he goes, "It's because mija, my baby girl, she misses my patchouli." I'm like, "No, dude, nobody misses that shit. Nobody."
But you know what? His grandkids know exactly what he smells like, and that's
it'll be that
really
smell.
Sweet.
It'll be that
That's really sweet.
When my son is 40, he's gonna walk by that smell and be like, "Oh, man, I miss my grandpa."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it stinks horribly.
I think, you know what? No, I wonder if patchouli oil is like, some people have an aversion to cilantro and it's like a genetic thing. Like people cilantro tastes different to them. I wonder if patchouli oil is like that because it doesn't bother me, but you cannot handle it.
Your dad.
But he hasn't always smelled like patchouli oil since I was little. It's like a recent thing.
But we're doing good. We're happy to be home.
You're doing good. I feel like, imagine if this mastitis thing is so painful. It's like having the flu because you get the chills.
Oh, dude, this is what she told me today. She goes, "Imagine having the flu."
And I said, "And your balls are engorged because you just had surgery and they didn't give you the good drugs."
Okay, first of all, my balls are engorged because you haven't touched me in several months. It's called blue balls, honey. That's what it's called.
It's like the worst flu you've ever had, and then I feel like I got a boob job or something, and they didn't give me pain meds.
And I guess I'll take it back. But you have been amazing. You've been super mom. You're really enjoying. You did not enjoy the pregnancy, but you're enjoying having a newborn. Right?
Yeah. I really did try to enjoy the pregnancy. I don't think I'm not a good pregnant woman.
No, you've been freaking amazing. The only thing that's holding you back right now is this engorgement of your...
Well, no, it's the shivers. Like when the pain med, when the the medicine starts to wear off, I start to shake again and
Well, and
feel
I mean, I
crummy.
think the transition's been great. I mean, Garrett is becoming an amazing big brother.
Oh, so good.
And-
He was so excited when we came home from the hospital. I wasn't expecting that. And he
No,
was so sweet.
Garrett's-
He came running down the stairs. We had her here in her car seat on the
Garrett's
counter and he
amazing.
jumped up and
Garrett's amazing, and you know, we were. You're such a tough girl. We were actually talking about filming last week. Literally the week that you had come home with the baby, we were talking about should we do it, should we not do it.
well, you were. I was like, no, I need, even though I'm just sitting it, I need
Well,
to
and,
sit it
and,
out.
and I think that people understand, you know, and
Yeah.
I mean, you look amazing. I mean,
Because Marisol did my makeup this morning.
well,
Thank you,
no,
Mari.
in general, I mean, you've been other than the fact that you're dealing with the chichis.
Yeah. This is for sure the first time I blow dried my hair, and this was like a process. I fed her at 6 a.m. and then took a hot shower so that I could go pump, and
Well,
then
and
my hair dried for a few
but it
hours,
always-
air dried, and then I fed her again, and then I blow dried my hair.
But it always
it's like a process.
It always cracks me up when I hear like young couples, you know, we've been through so much. I'm like, stop. You have no idea what you're about to see with your spouse. You know, like going through the pregnancy process, like you haven't even had a kid yet.
You know what I do have
You
to
know.
say though is as much as you complained about me being pregnant, once I had the baby, you were like, I was doing everything. You were like, I was doing everything, and I realized you do a lot more than I thought you did.
I don't know if I said that. Let's not.
You did.
Let's not
You
put
did.
that
You're
on the
like,
record.
I thought you didn't do anything. You actually do a lot, turns out.
Well, no, it's hard to call the cleaning ladies, and it's not easy to order food, and it's not. But you know, but that was the bummer of it all, is that you are my partner, you are my teammate. We've gotten into a system, if you will, right?
Sure.
Of you know what you do, and then I felt bad because you know your mom, when she was here, I was helping out, but I don't think she knew the dishes thing with me.
Oh, the dishes thing.
So-
I heard that conversation from the bedroom.
So-
My mom probably thought you were full of bullshit.
Maybe, but I felt bad because you know I would clean everything up, and I would put food in, you know, leftovers in the fridge, and I would wipe down my counter the way I like it, and I would vacuum and you know do everything, but then I wouldn't do the dishes, and your mom would be there, and I think every once in a while she'd just kind of look at me like, well, I guess I'm doing the dishes again, right? But what they don't know is because I've had back surgery,
Yes.
leaning over the sink wrecks me. Like it like destroys my back. And it's something about that. You know what I'm talking about, Rick? Like it's this lean. Oh, hold on, my microphone. That wrecks my back, and it'll literally ruin my whole day.
You know what though? I have a novel idea. We have a dishwasher, y'all. You just rinse them and put them in, and they
You
come out
don't.
clean.
No, see, no.
It's like the laundry, your whole joke. You just
No.
put it in, and then you
No.
switch it, and you push the button. The dishwasher
Captain
works
Evil
the
is
same
wrong
way.
again. Honey, the dishwasher is not a dishwasher. It is a disinfectant. You do not wash dishes in the dishwasher.
Yes, but if you
wash
rinse them before
you-
the food gets crusty, all
wash
you have to
them
do is put it in the
and you
dishwasher.
rinse them, and then you put them in the dishwasher. You don't
we
put them
really
in the
having an argument about dishes on this episode of the
because I'm
podcast?
trying to explain to people think, oh, you didn't wash the stuff off the forks. You're supposed to wash the stuff off the forks. That is to sterilize and clean off.
Sure, but it's very easy to just
I'm trying to help you,
quick.
girly.
real quick.
And then they came and picked up my Camaro.
Oh yes.
Like there was a part of me that was like, ooh, I want to show Aztec Chevrolet that we can sell cars, but not mine. Like, I get a phone call from Aztec Chevrolet, and they're like, hey, we need that car. We sold it. I'm like, what? You're not supposed to sell it? So then they go, well, what else do you want to drive? And because you had been complaining about the
practicality of a Camaro with a new family of 4, 2 car seats.
So
Yes.
then I go, well, send me the Tahoe, right? I'll drive the Tahoe around. They bring the Tahoe, it's already sold. Like the guy that's doing the landscape here at my house, and he goes, hey man, me and my wife are buying an Escalade. And he goes, can I check out that High Country? I go, yeah. Oh, can I take it home for a day so my wife can see it? I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. He comes back and says, oh, we're going to take it. I'm like, well, dude, how did I become a car? First of all, I'm a car salesman now, and then your mom was like, oh, I'm going to buy one just like that one. So I literally sold 3 cars for Aztec Chevrolet.
It is a beautiful car.
It's beautiful.
It's like it's really pretty champagne color.
It's beautiful. But I kind of like, especially in our neighborhood, it's all families, right, about our age, right? And older. It's either old people or people our age in our neighborhood. I should have known. Like the Camaro, nobody was asking like, hey, can I check out the Camaro in this neighborhood? I bring the freaking Tahoe, and our neighbors are like, hey, let me check out that family truckster you got there. So I just want to thank Aztec Chevrolet for always being a sponsor. And
I didn't know because you just called me and you were like, they're coming to pick up the Camaro. And then you were like, can you wash it? You were like, I'm really embarrassed. Nobody's going to come pick it up and it's dirty. I was like at the lactation specialist. I'm trying to juggle feeding a newborn. And he's like, can you go wash the car?
No. Nobody is asking her to get out there in a bikini and a freaking bucket and a sponge. We have a membership at Major League Car Wash. All you had to do is drive through it. I go, can you please drive through Major League? Oh, I don't have time for that. And I'm like,
no, when you're juggling a newborn schedule and your breast, at the time I was like only breastfeeding. I wasn't.
But then I'm like, well, your mom's here too. Like your mom came to help. Can she help? I'm not gonna have time to drive through. So whoever bought the Camaro, and it's a little dirty, you can blame Captain Evil.
No, they had to drive it back to Aztec Chevy, and I'm sure it got covered in bugs on the drive home. So of course they had to wash it.
We are finally home with our new baby girl.
Yes.
And it has been a little trippy for me, like all the pink. Dude, everything's freaking pink.
The unicorn stuff and the fluffy teddy bears.
It's been a real bummer because, my sisters, Lisa saw the baby. Yeah.
Video chat, yeah.
Well, Lisa, my sister Lisa's just amazing with kids, and she's been video chatting like crazy. But also, no offense, Lisa, it's like we got to hold the phone to it, and then she's like, "Tia Lisa's here, Tia Lisa," and I'm like,
she's like, "Call me back when she's awake," and I'm like, "Well, when she's awake, I don't have an arm to hold the phone."
She's only awake for 45 minutes. But with COVID, it's a bummer that not everybody can come and see the baby. So
we're just having to sort of schedule it.
Well, and then my sister Victoria was going to come because me and my sister are very close, but there was an exposure at her school or something. Garrett, come here. You want to say hello? Not yet. You're getting a snack? What are you getting?
Oh. Probably goldfish, Dad. You've embarrassed him.
So it's been a little bit of a bummer that because of COVID, and then you feel bad, right? And then you feel bad like, oh my God, are we not, we want to make sure that tricky. Everybody knows.
Navigate it. We love everyone and we want everyone to get a chance to meet the baby, but we obviously want to be very careful. And it also is, things have kind of flared up here in the last couple of weeks too. So it's just, and she was so tiny when she was born. And
oh my gosh, that's what trips me out too, man.
After the hospital, so.
Not only all the pink stuff, but she's like itty bitty, man. Tiny. Like tiny.
But long fingers and long toes. When we were doing her pictures this morning, Sally from Country Grace Photography had her all swaddled and just her little toes and feet sticking out. It was really cute.
Dude, that tripped me out when Sally told me that people fly in from all over the country
to shoot with her.
Because she does these really cool, like...
Cookies with Santa.
These really great pictures. And we went there today. That's where we took our photos. You know me, man. I'm like, dude, I'm a professional. Get me the fuck out of here.
It has nothing to do with professional. Like, Sally is the professional because I totally prepped her. I said, Steve will give you 10, 15 minutes max.
But they're solid 15.
He turns into a pumpkin.
I show up and I'm like...
So she played.
I know all the poses, right? I'm like, you snap away, I'll give you all the and then look at the baby, and then look at Renae, act like I love her, like give Renae a kiss, like, dude, I know all the poses, Right? So I'm like, here you go. Let's go. You pull the trigger. I'm going to get these pictures for you, and let's go.
We went in 2 separate cars. She shot any picture she needed with Steven at first, and then she shot whatever she needed with Garrett, and we sent them on their merry way so we could do Delilah's photos.
But we are in that phase right now where we're trying to get into a rhythm. We're trying to figure out.
That's the other part that makes it hard with visitors and stuff too. Is I am very much, or I was until I got mastitis, but very much trying to get into a rhythm. And you just want to be comfortable in your own house to have your boobs out, and I don't want to feel like I'm stuck in the room all the time. I want to be able to come out in the living room, especially with Garrett. Like when you're breastfeeding and you're hiding out in your bedroom, I feel like I'm missing out on things with Garrett.
Well, Garrett, dude, he's such a little dude, man.
Curious.
He's like, what's going on under that blanket?
Where were you? You had a show, you were gone. Maybe you were in El Paso. I felt so bad. I was pumping and I've asked for privacy, and he's supposed to be getting in the shower, and I don't hear the water running, so I go to check on him. Kid got whapped in the head with the doorknob because he was peeking through the cracks in the door.
And then I did El Paso since then, you know.
You did.
I was like,
another hot spot. That was scary too.
I was so sad, dude. Like, man, I tell people it's been such a rough year, man, for me mentally, and you know, having 3 months off, and then I was so excited to get back on stage.
The world's opening up again.
You know, let's go back on stage, let's perform. I don't care if I don't get to meet and greet. I don't care if I don't have people in the green room. I just want to be on stage. But now that's taking a toll on me I mean, you know, the comic strip, for example, dude, I'm literally, then they did a curfew at 9 o'clock. So.
Oh, that was San Antonio. All your show
San
times had
Antonio
to get
and
moved up.
El Paso. So now it's Friday night, and I'm in my hotel room in El Paso by 9 o'clock. And I'm just sitting there. And
you took every game console we had in this house. Garrett's Switch, an Xbox,
But, you
VR
know, it sucks because, you know, at Bart Reed's comic strip, out the back door is an alley. So because of COVID, I sit in the car. Timmy comes and knocks on the window. I get out of the car. Friday night I only had one show at 5:30.
It was at 5:30?
5:30.
Oh, that's
so
hard. Good thing
I get out of the car.
Start.
Timmy knocks on the window. I get out of the car. Al's bringing me on stage. I walk on stage. I walk off, back in my car, back to the hotel. And I had just had a baby. You know, and I was so upset. And I get so worked up, and I don't think people understand.
You get so worked up? No, people don't believe it.
No, I take everything so personally. And I care about every single fan.
Yeah.
Every one of them. I care about every one of them. So I get this comment from a fan saying, oh my God, this is disgusting. You just had a baby. Why aren't you taking the week off? It's COVID anyway. And I was so hurt by it because people don't understand.
How hard it is for you to leave your family?
How hard it is to leave my family. The fact that I'm lucky to have a job.
Yeah.
We are 60 to 70%.
That's going to make me cry because people just don't know.
We're 70% down income this year. And I am trying my hardest to keep all my employees. I'm trying my hardest to make sure that the people that work for us continue to work.
Yeah.
To make sure that there's bills.
And you don't
being
work
paid.
a regular 9 to 5, so we don't know what each paycheck is going to be like from week to week. It's not like we can plan that out.
Well, that and I got to work when I can because what if another shutdown comes?
Yep.
There's no PPP loan for me coming. There's no help coming for me.
Yeah.
I have to work when I can work. And yes, did it break my heart to leave my child?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked. You know, do I want to perform in El Paso where it's going up and there's a curfew and a limit to how many people can be in there? No, all of it sucks. But I was also lucky enough to be raised by a dad that used to say, hey, men got to work and you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to go and work when I can. You know, so it really hurt my feelings that you know, this girl kind of attacked me questioning my morals, are you, I'm like, hey, and that's another thing. Are you at home not getting a paycheck? Are you losing your small business? Are you employing other people? You got to look at people's individual circumstances.
Or just be understanding that everyone's circumstances are different.
They're different.
Right? Everyone just is saying
different.
this is an unprecedented time and there is no...
Let me get some water.
There is no etiquette or guidebook
You're doing
happening
good.
here.
I'm going to get some water. Keep talking.
I hate when he does that. He always says, let me lead, follow my lead. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to talk about anything. I'll just talk about what you talk about. And then you leave me on here and I don't have anything to say.
No, we know. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Go ahead, Renae.
No, I finally stopped shaking them. Meds kicked in. We started the podcast and I was like trying to hold it together.
But look, it really hurt my feelings, and I think that at a time like this, with the circumstances like this, that and again, not a political statement, right? Not a political statement. We have to think about everyone. We have to think about that small business owner. We got to think about that person who their dream was to open a hair salon and have their own hair salon. Yeah. And now we have to think about that person. We have to think about the fact that, suicide, mental health is through the roof, So it's just been a scary year, and I want people to know that I'm doing the best that I can. Yeah. And that we can. We're trying to be safe. We're trying, Randy Rogers and I are doing a show tomorrow night. It's outdoors. It's socially distanced. It's a Christmas show. I'm going to do comedy. We're going to do giveaways for veterans. Because you know me, I'm always going to find a way to do something for the veterans. We're going to do veteran giveaways and provide people with, hopefully, a little comic relief and a little live music. Yeah. But it was frustrating, and it was hard for me to leave my daughter. However, and there's Rick on the computer here, and I have two other men in here. You don't have kids though, right?
One on the way.
Woo!
We didn't know!
Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
And here he is at work, exposing himself to the Treviños. Doing what he's got to do. But, when you have kids, you're going to learn that first month is not dad territory. Like, that first 2 months is all...
Do whatever mom says.
Yes, do whatever mom says, but Renae just inherently is better at that first... I mean, there's nothing
I don't know if that's true.
Bro, and she... and
I think that's you trying to buy your way out of it.
No, I'm a brute, right? I'm a very aggressive guy, and she's so tiny. And right, you feel like you're gonna break them, and you're just sitting there with this tiny baby. And the first month, dude, it is. What's the schedule?
She feeds every 2 to 3 hours. So you change them when they wake up. If they stay awake for a little bit, you feed them, and hopefully they play for a little bit, and then they go back to sleep.
Play?
And then, not play, but like look around, open their eyes.
Bro, she opens her eyes and just kind of like.
She's following things.
And then she's back asleep. As a dad, there's nothing much you can do but love your newborn. That's the only thing you can do is love that. Is it a boy or girl?
No, you can do...
Girl, oh.
You can do tummy time with her when they're real young. You just put them on their tummy and kind of pat their back and watch them.
It's like, right, Rick? It's like walking around with a live football.
Sit with them naked in the sun on
and then
the
when that
front
football
porch.
starts to cry, you're like, here, honey, the football's crying. Give it back to me when it's not crying anymore. And then they bring it back.
That's so the grandpas. The grandpas are like, oh, she's crying. Here you go.
But for me, like, it's not till like month 2, 3 where they start getting a little heavier, and you can like hold them up and you can play. Dude, her little neck is like, hey, I do whatever I want, guy. Like, and it's scary. But I would say month 3 for the dad, it gets better because they start kind of moving around a little bit. They're a little stronger. You can hang out a little more. But this first month.
I just remember with Garrett at his first birthday, you being like, you telling other people, oh, it gets so much easier once they turn 1. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's still really hard.
Not for me. It was easy. Bro, I like to make them laugh. Like, my job is to make them laugh, tickle them, play with them, right? And then as soon as they poop, I'm like, hey.
I feel like 18 months when they start to use words, or Garrett did a little bit of sign language because he would get real frustrated he couldn't communicate. And that's when it started to get easier.
It was cool, man. It's you're going to love every second of it. But I would say, and I think the other 2 men that have kids would say, that first month, that's all mommy's department. Rick, wouldn't you agree?
100%. I'll go as far as to say, even during this quarantine, it's all Gigi.
Right. Here, Mom.
And Gigi's got 3 boys at home, y'all. God bless Gigi.
Yeah, well, Rick's not no dummy. He married a Cuban, so Rick better do what she says. Oye, coño, brother. But it has been, I feel a sense of relief.
For sure.
Now that we have our baby home.
Absolutely, for sure.
You know, it's I will say the second one is not mentally, like, I feel like with Garrett, because we were new parents.
Yeah.
Like now I put her down at night, and if I'm not listening to her, I'm like, she's alive. Like, Garrett would get quiet, and I'd be like, is he still alive? Like, did we kill this baby? Like, dude, I didn't sleep a week, because as soon as Garrett would go down, I'd just stare at him.
He was actually on your side of the bed most of the time.
I would take a little mirror, put on his nose. Like, okay, he's alive. But this one, I'm like, she's alive. It's really hard to kill babies. They cry. They'll let you know what's up. But I will say that I have never dropped a baby. Renae has.
No, that's not true.
Dude, Garrett rolled off the bed in El Paso, dude.
That's not true. You
he wasn't a baby. He wasn't a baby, though. He wasn't a baby in San Francisco.
Big.
He was already bigger. This one, baby, on the bed. Boop, boop. And I'm like, dude. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then, then I've got him in the stroller, and we're hauling ass around San Francisco. Well, I didn't strap him into the stroller. All right, so that's a little lesson for you. Strap your kid into the stroller. And we're walking on the sidewalks of San Francisco. I hit the curb. He just flies out face plant, dude, and just starts screaming, of course.
And in San Francisco, the sidewalks are packed. There's people everywhere.
All the people were just looking at us, and I just threw him. I'm like, he's fine. Our baby's fine. And I just rolled off. It was the worst, dude. Oh my God. But in El Paso, he went rolling off the bed, and Renae was like, oh my God. I'm like, you don't think maybe, our kids are athletic and strong.
I didn't realize we were already at that phase.
But we've had quite the couple weeks. I finished the landscaping.
Yes.
Finally. For all the listeners, we finally got Delilah's room finished.
Well, there's like some little touches that are not quite. I haven't styled her shelves, but other than that.
Dude, this dresser comes in, finally. Which, by the way, I would have counted that as not another week.
What do you mean?
It smelled like glue.
Oh, yeah. So the dresser arrived after Delilah did, but even when the dresser got here, it smelled so bad. It's like a bone inlay, so
It's
I guess
like
it's glue.
a custom bone inlay from India.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of furniture.
It's a great piece of furniture, but it smelled like
glue, right? Or gasoline.
Like
I
gas.
thought the landscape guys helped Steve carry it up the
like
stairs.
paint thinner.
And I thought it was them.
It smelled literally smelled like paint thinner. And we had to open the windows in there, and we had to put a fan in there because, the whole...
For a week,
the whole upstairs smelled.
Yeah. My mom was like, you should write an Etsy review and let people know.
Get them, Renae. Get them.
Be prepared that your dress was going to smell like...
But this Friday, I will be in Corpus Christi. I'm going to be helping catcher for the Texas Rangers, Jose Trevino, do a toy drive and raise money. Both shows are sold out. Tonight is me and Randy. Tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, man, I was supposed to be in Chicago for at the Schaumburg Improv for New Year's. We're going to bring in the New Year's there, but they're not opening. That was cool. So I did a private gig in Alice, Texas for a doctor. Dr. Cantu is his name. Great staff. And it was cool because when we got there, we did rapid COVID tests.
Part of your contract was that you had to be tested before you performed.
So that was cool because I knew that everybody had been tested. So afterwards, I took pictures with people, which I hadn't done, in forever. But it was cool to be able to
interact with people
and hang out and take pictures. But then, of course, I'm worried because I'm like, oh, they're going to post these pictures of us without masks. And then people are going to be like, oh, my God.
No, for sure.
Are you one of those? And it's like, no, dude, we all took a test, you know. But I'll tell this story, and then we'll let everybody go. So I'm 18 years old, right? I get a job at the radio station in Corpus Christi, Texas. Which, by the way, big shout out to Barbie Leo. Barbie and I started working at 18 years old at this radio station together, and now she's just done amazing things in Corpus Christi. So I love you, Barbie. But Barbie was working there, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to be in radio or, I knew I wanted to do stand-up, but the closest thing to Hollywood, in my opinion, in Corpus Christi was
a radio DJ.
Being on the radio, right? Well, there was kind of a local famous guy that was on the radio there. And he was a stand-up comedian, right? And, at that time, the guy was hot, right? Especially in Corpus.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting the host job for a show called Que Locos. And he's doing a show, and I'm like, hey, man, I do stand-up. I'd like to do stand-up on your show, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, you want to open, you can open, right?
Yeah.
So it was like at the Yellow Rose, like way back in the day. I'm like 18. So I get to open for him, and then I'm really excited because I thought I did really well, right? And I'm thinking to myself, oh, man, he's hosting Que Locos, right? Which was on TV at the time. I'm going to ask him what he thought, right? So we get to work that morning, and he's like, hey, dude, let me talk to you, bro, right? And I'm like, oh, he's going to talk about my show. And I'm like, hey, man, thanks for letting me open, and what do you think, man? Can I be on Que Locos? And he goes, you know what, dude? You need to quit. He goes, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Those guys are talented, man. You don't have any talent. Bro, he's like destroying me. I'm 18 years old. He's a grown man. He's destroying me. And he's like, I'm going to do you the favor and tell you right now, you're not going to make it, dude. You need to quit, right? And I was devastated. Completely devastated. Well, all of a sudden, here we are, years later, and he is my opening act at this Christmas party. And of course, I'm not gonna, look, man, the biggest thing in my life that has helped me continue to move forward is forgiveness. That's the biggest thing. I tell people all the time, in life, if you can forgive, it'll help you move on, right? So I've forgiven this guy a million years ago, So he comes up to me after his set, and he's like, hey, dude, if you need an opening act, bro, I'm happy to open for you, man. Just let me know, And I was like, all right, man, no problem. But it's funny how things, but there's also the, for me especially, I've heard no so much in my life. I've heard people tell me that I wasn't going to amount to anything, that I'd probably be in prison, that, and all of that gave me fire and drive and made me, so I don't know, it was that part of the fire? Was that part of the drive? Was that part of the, I'm going to prove you wrong? Did I need that? I don't know. I personally will never do that to anybody trying. You know that. I get hit up all the time, hundreds of times daily of comics. Can you check out my video? I want to open for you. Give me a critique. And I would never tell any of them. You're not going to make it. You're not talented. I tell them the same thing. Hey, man, keep it up. Get on stage. You know, maybe one day we'll get to work together, right? But I would never tell somebody, especially a kid.
Well, you just never know how impressionable people are.
Right, you know, but I'll never forget that moment. And it was just really funny to me that here we are 20 years later and he's begging to open for me.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought that was funny. And
But you're both still doing comedy too.
Well, and he stayed. So I'm on stage and he's sitting in the back watching me. I still give it up to him. You know, I go, hey man, give it up. You know, the guy's a legend. He's been around forever.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not bitter. I'm not mad about it, right? You know, but it was just funny to me that I will never forget that moment. You know, which is funny because Miss Dora sees him all the time, my mom. Hey, you know what? I hate that son of a bitch. I know what he did. I know what he did to you. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not worried about it, man. I'm good, you know. But it was just one of those things where I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
It did hurt me, right? It did make me think to myself, you know, do I even belong?
Continue to pursue this.
Yeah, do I even continue to pursue this, you know? And it just, you know, to me it's a learning moment as well. And it helped me in my future to go, I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know, so just wrapping it up. You look fabulous.
Thank you. I know, Marisol should come over every morning.
We don't have that kind of budget, all right?
Thank you guys for the
Well, and that
Tahoe.
was another thing. So, you know, with the Tahoe, I put James in touch with our guy at Treviño at Aztec Chevrolet, and James lives out here in New Braunfels.
Oh, yeah.
And so now James is asking for a specific Suburban. They're going to find it for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go out and shop everywhere. They're going to find it. They're going to do the paperwork. They're going to deliver it to him. So, you know, it's awesome that they're seeing that these guys, you know, they treat you great, you know.
Yeah.
So with that being said, do you have anything else?
No. It's time for me to go pump.
Bro, that is like, that's another thing. Like, I don't know how she does it. All you hear is,
Okay.
get ready, bro. You're going to see some things. You should be terrified. Bro, there's going to be some, and here's my advice for you in the delivery room. Stay north of the border. Do not go south. I know some friends that are like, oh, dude, I was right in there, bro. And I'm like, no, that's the favorite part of my wife's body. And I just want to remember it the way that it was, the way it was when I met her. All right, I love you, baby. You look fantastic.
Love you.
I'm so proud of you. You really stepped it up. You're Mom of the Year. But that's it for us. The Steve and Captain Evil podcast. I hope you enjoyed this one. Because this one was a little more, I don't know, it's just different, right?
Yeah.
But it was good.
We're getting back into the groove because we took a week off.
Oh, and you know, Renae doesn't, I forgot to bring this up. So Renae and I kind of have
You said
this.
Renae doesn't, and I was like, oh,
No,
what's he about to say?
No,
Let's just wrap it up. Cut the cameras, guys.
Renae's afraid to ask. So
I'm
Renae,
afraid to ask her what.
well, no, Renae and I have this plan because Renae wants to get into the best shape of her life.
Because Steve told me if I got abs, he would take me to Croatia.
That's what I told her. I said, hey, you get abs, you're going to Croatia. People don't know, dude.
And that's what those fat melting machines are for.
I have a cardboard cutout of her in their closet, and if she can't walk through it, then I divorce her. That's the deal. No, all joking aside, we are looking for somebody that would like to partner with us, preferably local.
Yeah.
San Antonio, Austin, New Braunfels area, to work with Renae as a personal trainer to help Renae get back in the best shape of her life, because
Yeah.
that's kind of your goal.
Although I feel like you're really more excited about this idea than I am. I'm like, baby steps.
Look,
one day at a
I'll be
time.
honest with you. I really wish your sister didn't live in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Because Rebecca, your
She knows how to
sister,
do it.
not only is she a PT, physical therapist,
Yeah.
she's also an amazing shape.
Yeah.
So Rebecca Smith on Instagram is Renee's sister. She like competes, and I mean the girl
Does all the meal prep.
Yeah, she looks fantastic. So we are looking for somebody who. So DM, not me. DM Renae. I don't want to deal with it. Deal with Renae.
He just wants me to have abs.
No. Do you not want to do this or not?
No, it would be great. Yes, it would be great.
So if somebody would like to partner up with the beautiful Renae, I think it'll be cool. So I do got to go. I got a bunch of stuff going on today. I'm probably going to go work out or something, and you're going to take care of the baby. As always, Steve and
Captain Evil.
the originals.